A Democrat Senate candidate in Michigan tying himself to New York City's socialist candidate, Zohran Mamdani, with a Facebook ad that reads, "Zohran won, Abdul is next." Meanwhile, Mamdani landing the endorsement of a top Cuomo backer.
Under attack by Donald Trump and the Republicans. So we have no choice but to come together. The people have spoken. So if for me it is a privilege and an honor to be here and support Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani for mayor of the city of New York. And we need him.
Joining me to discuss is Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. So great to see you this morning, Charlie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, before we get to the whole situation in New York, I wanted to focus a little bit on the Michigan situation, where you have a state that has been sort of we kind of talk about it as a swing state, but it's actually been a Democrat state for many, many, many years until Donald Trump came along and turned it into a swing state, and has successfully twice turned it into a Trump state. And you have Republicans sort of trying to talk about common sense issues, and you have Democrats now completely running off with the circus of socialism. How's that going to work out?
Well, that's right. Yeah, and remember, President Trump won the youth vote in the state of Michigan this last November, which was a victory heard around the world. The Mamdani effect is going to metastasize in the Democrat Party. Now, how successful it will be in a general election, I don't know. I still have my skepticism. But the Mamdani effect is grievance-based politics, playing into people's bitterness, and also playing into the economic disorder that Biden left us. Now, President Trump is going to fix this, and he is aiming to fix this. But understand, for the younger voters that I represent and the younger voters that delivered the White House for President Trump, they can't afford homes. They're increasingly renting. They're not getting married. They're not having children. So there's two ways this can go: an optimistic, patriotic vision like President Trump is offering, or a very dark and sinister vision, one that is anti-Western, anti-American, anti-civilization, which you're seeing from Abdul and Zohran Mamdani. We saw a little bit this from Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and AOC, and I believe this effect will only continue in the Democrat Party for years to come.
So, of course, obviously you have devoted your life to talking to young people, and we're reminded of how grateful we are that you have done that. Going to Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan, one of the things this is what he told Newsweek back in July 8th. If President Trump is bringing hate, we bring love. He's bringing more pain, we're bringing healing. If he's bringing that danger and insecurity, we're bringing a kind of empathy and a kind of understanding. Socialism, and this is the frustration, and this is where I think what your work is so important. Young people don't understand that that's not what socialism is. Socialism is a brutal, brutal regime for which 100 million people around the world over the past 100 years have died.
Well, that's right. And that kind of radical vision, or even lack thereof, because it doesn't take much talent to say that, is rooted when people do not own stuff. And this is the greatest crisis that is facing us. We need to have a national project, and I believe President Trump will be able to accomplish this. How do we get more young people under the age of 35 to have equity in the system?
Yes.
Not the Democrat version of equity where they want to have redistribution, but actually, are they paying a mortgage? Do they own stuff? Or are they permanent renters? A permanent renting class in this country is the prerequisite, is the leading ingredient for radical politics that nobody wants to see. We need to reinvigorate the ownership economy, and then all of a sudden, when you own stuff, you're less likely to burn down a Wendy's and vote for candidates like Zohran Mamdani.
Indeed. And of course, what we're seeing in Michigan is going to be a problem for Democrats throughout. DNC Chair Ken Martin had this to say about Mamdani.
What about concerns from some of your Jewish colleagues in particular about him not outright condemning the phrase globalize the intifada in a recent interview? Some of your Jewish colleagues have said that that could be very disturbing, potentially dangerous. Do you agree with that?
You know, there's no candidate in this party that I agree 100% of the time with, to be honest with you. There's things that I don't agree with Mamdani that he said. But at the end of the day, I always believe, as a Democratic Party chair in Minnesota for the last 14 years, and now the chair of the DNC, that you win through addition. We are a big tent party. Yes, it leads to dissent and debate, and there's differences of opinions on a whole host of issues.
So this is just a big tent party.
Well, I have two immediate thoughts on that. Number one, he being from Minnesota, he knows exactly how to say nothing while saying a lot of words because he's had to try to defend Ilhan Omar and Keith Ellison. Right. He knows how to defend the anti-civilizational forces in the Democrat Party. But number two, and this is the most important thing for the audience to internalize, you might think the Democrats are going to moderate. You might think that, oh, you know, I went on Gavin Newsom's show and he's going to move to the middle. No, 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 no. The rise of Mamdani and that ridiculous statement from Ken Martin shows the canary in the coal mine is the Democrats are going to double and triple down on an anti-civilizational agenda. They are going to go more in the encampment direction that we saw at Columbia University and Harvard University, which should be, for everybody in the audience, a chilling alternative if we do not maintain Republican majorities and win in the future. The Democrats, they're going to offer stuff that we have not seen in this country ever.
Right. And it's a reminder that we need to teach young people the truth, and you're doing that. Turning Point Student Action Summit kicks off today. Explain the summit to us and give us some hope.
Well, there's a lot of hope. We'll have 7,000 students here in Tampa, Florida, first and foremost celebrating that we kind of accomplished what we set out to do 13 years ago. President Trump won the youth vote back in November. The younger generation delivered the White House for President Trump. So we're celebrating that. But also, the work is not done. We have a mandate to fulfill. We have a lot of work to do. We have to try to create this vanguard against the rise of Mamdaniism, as we are seeing in this country. Because these 7,000 students here in Tampa, Florida this weekend, we have Pete Hegseth, and we have Kristi Noem, and we have Greg Gutfeld. We have amazing speakers will be here, Laura Ingraham. This remnant that we are building with younger voters is one of the most important generational investments. Because, you know, we could talk about one big, beautiful bill and all the stuff on Capitol Hill, but what happens on college campuses doesn't stay on college campuses. It will grow into corporate life. It will grow into the halls of Congress. And what Turning Point USA is doing here this weekend in Tampa, Florida, I believe will help make sure America remains free and strong for generations to come.
Obviously, President Trump has succeeded at reaching a lot of young people. Do you feel like you're having success getting Republicans or conservatives to recognize how important it is to talk about those issues like you were just talking about the fact that we can't have a permanent rental class and how incredibly difficult it is for a 23-year-old to even think about buying a house?
It's so important, and President Trump understands this. This is why he won the youth vote in so many states like Michigan, because it's an ongoing, let's say, a journey. Because some Republicans say, look, all we have to do is just cut tax cuts on the corporate side. Guys, no, you have to think more creatively. If you do not have a generation that owns stuff, it's not the same economic model of the 70s and 80s. We've printed trillions of dollars. We're trillions of dollars in debt. Biden let 20 million people illegally into this country. We have to say that there's a new social compact, which is if you have a 28-year-old who has $100,000 in student loan debt because they have a sociology degree and they cannot afford a home in the big 10 biggest cities in America, well, then we are failing that next generation. And that's why President Trump won this demographic, because he promised them he'll deliver for them, and I hope other Republicans follow suit.
Indeed. Charlie Kirk, thank you for what you do, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
York.